Hi guys, so in a previous video I talked about the intercontinental playoffs for the World Cup, the 2026 World Cup held next year in USA, Mexico and Canada. So there are two places from that 6-team intercontinental playoffs. I've talked about that already. The European playoffs contains 16 teams. That is of course the 12 second place teams in the groups, and then the 4 Nations League qualified teams that get to be in the playoffs. So 16 teams all put into groups of 4. They were in pots 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the draw. 2 pots were seeded and 2 pots were not seeded. So this is for the final 4 places at the World Cup finals in North America. So I'm going to go through the groups, give you my opinions and my predictions for each group. So the first group, let me see here. I've got the groups up here now. 2 seconds. Okay, so the Path A in the European playoffs for the World Cup 2026 the draw was made and the pots were emptied, and these are the teams that got each other in the playoffs. So it's going to be one playoff. There's going to be 2 playoffs. There's going to be the semi-final and then the final. The first path is Wales, who went through in second place in their group. They play Bosnia and Herzegovina in the first match in Path A, first semi-final. The second one is Italy and Northern Ireland, who also went through, but Northern Ireland went through as a third place in their group, but as a qualifier from the Nations League. So Wales versus Bosnia and Herzegovina, I would say Wales. I would fancy Wales going through from that one. They look good. As far as winning 7-1 against North Macedonia in their final playoff game there. So they were very good in that. But I'd say they'll beat Bosnia. They will go into the final then. They play at home in the semi-final. And then I think they play away, or maybe they play at home in the final, but we'll see. Italy played Northern Ireland in the other semi-final. I think it would be very hard to go against Italy. Gattuso isn't doing too well with them, but I can't see Northern Ireland beating them. I do hope they do, as a neighbour of Northern Ireland. I wouldn't resent Northern Ireland. I think it's always better when you've got the neighbouring teams in the tournaments, but I'd hate to see them go through and us not go through, but I'd say Italy will win that one. I'd say Italy v Wales in the final. I could see Greg Bellamy's Wales pulling off a victory over Italy. It would be a travesty if Italy missed their 3rd World Cup in a row, but anything can happen. I'm going to go for Wales as a sneaky winner in that playoff path. Playoff path B sees the Ukraine versus Sweden. And the other one sees Poland take on Albania. So Albania are aiming to get into their first World Cup. Ukraine and Sweden have been at World Cups, and of course Poland. I can see Poland beating Albania. I could see Sweden-Ukraine being a very tight match. Graham Potter at Sweden now. They came last in their qualifying group, but they are through via the Nations League, as are Albania. I believe. Maybe they're not, actually. I think they came second in their group, actually. But Poland and Ukraine are the strongest there. So I'd say Poland and Ukraine go to the final of that one. And I could see Poland going through to the World Cup from that path. Path C sees Slovakia versus Kosovo. It sees Turkey versus Romania. So Slovakia, Kosovo are very much a minnow. They got through via the Nations League. Romania also through via the Nations League, I believe. So I'd say Slovakia will win that side, and I can see Turkey beating Romania pretty easy as well. These days, Romania wouldn't be up to a lot. So Turkey going through from that path, I would say. So we've got Path A, Wales going through. I've got Path B, Poland going through, and Path C, I'd say Turkey. Path D is the big one that we are interested in. Of course, Republic of Ireland, that amazing heroics last week where they beat Portugal 2-0, and then they beat Hungary 3-2, with the Troy Parrott 5-goal thriller of the two games. Of course, before that, the start of the group qualifying, it started off with a loss and a draw with Hungary and a loss to Armenia. Then they went and beat Armenia in the third, or they went and lost to Portugal. Then they beat Armenia, and then they won these two games in a row, which puts them into an amazing, a miracle position, because nobody ever expected Ireland to go through even to a playoff. So it's a big, big deal that Ireland are in the playoffs. They have drawn the Czech Republic as part of this playoff, and I would fancy them against the Czech Republic. It's away in Prague, but I would fancy them against the Czech Republic, and I'd say it will be a very good match and a fun weekend. So I might even be there myself. You never know. And so Ireland v Czech Republic on the first side of that path. On the other side of path, the Denmark versus North Macedonia. So Denmark are traditionally a big team. They usually get to the World Cup these days, and I think they deserve to get to it. Scotland put them out in the last minute, remember, there in the match the other night, which was very dramatic, and Scotland won their group for the first time in a long time. Denmark had to settle for the playoffs, and North Macedonia, of course, famously put out Italy in the playoffs a few years ago for the 2022 World Cup. So North Macedonia have had a few scalps in their time of big teams. Maybe they will pull something off here. They did lose to Wales 7-1 in the last qualifier there for them, but I do fancy them to do is very good. I don't fancy them to beat Denmark. I think Denmark will go through from that side, so I can see Ireland getting the home draw against Denmark there, getting the home advantage. I can see Ireland and Denmark going to the brink. It's going to be a very, very tough game. I can see it going to penalties and all. I do think it's luck of the draw. I couldn't choose who's going to go through, but I'm going to put my hopes up for Ireland going through to the World Cup for the first time in 24 years. That would be good. And let's see, can we do it? Can we beat the Czech Republic and then Denmark or North Macedonia? Who knows? It's going to be a great playoffs. The intercontinental playoffs are interesting, but the European playoffs are very interesting. And let's hope that Ireland can go through and capitalise on the momentum. I'd love to see Wales I'd love to see Wales go through as well. Northern Ireland, if they they're both in the same path, so now both teams won't go through. I'd say out of all the teams, all the neighbouring teams there, I'd say Ireland have the most chance because they have the most momentum. But Wales, I wouldn't rule out of beating Italy. So my four choices there in the European section to go through from the playoffs would be Wales, Poland, Turkey, and the Republic of Ireland, hopefully. And we'll see what happens in March. Should be good fun, and see can the boys in green get there. Take it easy, guys. That's just my thoughts, my predictions for the playoffs.